Welcome to Farming Aid. When you think of cattle, names like Angus, Holstein, or Brahman probably come to mind. But what if I told you there's an entire world of rare and extraordinary cattle breeds out there that most people have never even heard of? These hidden gems are more than just livestock. They're living legacies of culture, survival, and unique beauty. From the horned giants of East Africa to the mysterious mountain cattle of Southeast Asia, these breeds are built for extremes, shaped by centuries of tradition and packed with surprising traits. In today's video, we're going deep into the unknown to uncover 5 of the rarest and most fascinating cattle breeds you've probably never heard of. Get ready to meet the Hungarian Grey, the elegant powerhouse of Eastern Europe, the majestic Anko Watusi, known for its unbelievable horns, the charming and endangered Väneko from Sweden, the rugged survivor known as the Cuban Criollo, and the almost mythical Mung Cattle, hidden in the highlands of Southeast Asia. Stick around. You're about to discover cattle breeds that will challenge everything you thought you knew about farming, livestock, and the untamed beauty of nature. Let's journey through pastures rarely explored, where 5 of the most unheard of cattle breeds dwell. Breeds that are waiting to amaze, surprise, and maybe even inspire a new wave of interest among farmers and animal enthusiasts alike. Imagine walking through the windswept steppes of Eastern Europe, where winters are unforgiving and summers are short but intense. Here, among hardy grasses and isolated rural landscapes, you might stumble upon a creature that looks like a relic from another era, the Hungarian Grey, also known as the Magyar Grey cattle. These ancient, longhorned cattle are a national treasure of Hungary, yet many outside of Eastern Europe have never laid eyes on them. With their silvery gray coats and dramatic, wide-sweeping horns, they almost resemble mythical beasts more than typical livestock. But beyond their striking appearance, the Hungarian Grey possess remarkable strength and endurance. Historically used as oxen to pull carts and plows, these cattle are incredibly resilient to disease and can survive on minimal feed in rugged terrain. In fact, they were once the backbone of trade in medieval Hungary, walking hundreds of kilometers to reach the markets of Western Europe. Despite their vital role in history, they were nearly driven to extinction in the 20th century, with industrialization and modern breeds overshadowing them. However, passionate breeders and conservationists in Hungary have fought to preserve this majestic breed, and today, the Hungarian Grey stands as a symbol of national heritage and biological endurance, though still relatively unknown to the broader world. Venturing from the plains of Europe to the highlands of Africa, another astonishing but little-known cattle breed emerges, the Anko Watusi. While this breed may be vaguely familiar to some due to its magnificent horns that can span up to 8 feet from tip to tip, its cultural and practical importance remains widely unappreciated. The Anko Watusi is revered by several East African tribes, particularly the Tutsi people, not only for its milk and meat, but also for its regal stature and ceremonial value. These cattle are often seen as living art, symbols of wealth, prestige, and divine favor. Their horns, which act as natural radiators, help the cattle regulate their body temperature under the blazing African sun. Though they look delicate, these cattle are surprisingly hardy, able to survive in drought-stricken regions where other breeds would struggle. Anko Watusi herds have roamed the grasslands for thousands of years, shaped by both natural selection and the careful stewardship of African pastoralists. Outside of Africa, very few farmers raise this breed, often because their unique attributes require specific environmental conditions and cultural understanding. But for those who do, the rewards are immense, not just in terms of the breed's productivity, but in the pure, jaw-dropping elegance they bring to a herd. As we leave Africa and drift toward the wild and isolated isles of Northern Europe, we encounter one of the rarest and most mysterious cattle breeds on the planet. The Väneko, a heritage breed from Sweden that you've almost certainly never heard of unless you're deeply entrenched in Scandinavian livestock circles. The Väneko is not your average dairy cow. With a coat that comes in a variety of piebald patterns, sometimes black and white, sometimes red and white, they possess an old-world charm that harkens back to the pre-industrial age. Originally kept on small homesteads and forest farms in the Swedish countryside, these cattle were prized for their multi-purpose utility. They could provide milk, meat, and even assist in small-scale labor. What sets them apart even more is their temperament. Known to be calm, gentle, and easy to handle, Väneko cattle were the perfect companions for family farms. Unfortunately, the rise of modern, high-yield dairy breeds like the Holstein almost drove them to oblivion. In fact, by the 1970s, they were considered extinct until a small group of passionate farmers began a revival effort using surviving bloodlines hidden away on remote farms. Through careful breeding programs and conservation work, the Väneko is making a comeback, but their numbers are still so limited that many cattle breeders and enthusiasts around the world remain unaware of their existence. From the icy climates of Scandinavia, we now travel south to the sun-drenched Caribbean, where an unexpected cattle breed thrives in one of the most unlikely places, Cuba. Meet the hardy and resourceful Cuban Criollo cattle. Developed through centuries of natural selection and interbreeding between Spanish cattle brought by early colonists and the harsh realities of Caribbean life, the Cuban Criollo has become a symbol of resilience. These cattle are small in stature but tough as nails, capable of surviving in extreme heat, enduring periods of low-quality forage, and resisting many tropical diseases that devastate more delicate breeds. Their meat is lean yet flavorful, often described as having a richer, more game-like taste compared to traditional beef. Despite their adaptability and historical importance, the Cuban Criollo remains underappreciated globally. During the mid-20th century, Cuba prioritized more commercially recognized breeds to improve beef production, which led to a decline in Criollo populations. However, a new generation of sustainable farmers and agroecologists are turning back to this native breed for its environmental compatibility and low-maintenance care. While almost no one outside of Latin America knows this breed by name, those who do swear by its practical advantages and cultural legacy. And finally, crossing continents once more, we arrive in the far reaches of Southeast Asia, in the remote hill tribes of northern Vietnam and Laos, where we discover the elusive and almost mythical Mung cattle. Unlike the commercial breeds raised for mass markets, the Mung cattle are deeply entwined with indigenous spiritual practices, traditional medicine, and subsistence farming systems. These medium-sized, muscular cattle are adapted to mountainous terrain, navigating steep slopes with ease where tractors and machines simply can't go. They are primarily used as draft animals, helping till small terrace farms, but they also provide meat and are occasionally used in ritual offerings. With a short coat that comes in shades of fawn, reddish-brown, or even charcoal black, they're physically unassuming, but their genetic resilience is unmatched. Over centuries, Mung cattle have developed resistance to local parasites and diseases, making them vital assets to remote farming communities. Because they're so geographically and culturally isolated, very little formal documentation exists about this breed. In fact, even among livestock researchers, the Mung cattle are considered an obscure and poorly understood breed. Yet, their contribution to sustainable agriculture in mountainous regions cannot be overstated. They represent a living legacy of adaptation and survival, traits that are increasingly valuable in today's changing climate. As you can see, the world of cattle extends far beyond the commercial farms and industrial meat industries we often associate with livestock. There are hidden breeds with incredible stories, living artifacts of history, evolution, and cultural identity. The Hungarian Grey, with its ghostly silver coat and ancient heritage, still walks the fields of Hungary, echoing the days of medieval trade routes. The Anko Watusi, with its enormous horns and regal demeanor, continues to embody East African pride and survival. The Väneko whispers stories of a simpler, more holistic agricultural past in Scandinavia. The Cuban Criollo tells a tale of resistance and adaptation amid political and ecological upheaval. And the Mung cattle of Southeast Asia quietly power the lives of mountain dwellers, blending utility with sacred tradition. These breeds are not only cattle. They are living testaments to the power of nature, culture, and human ingenuity. They remind us that agriculture isn't just about production. It's about preservation, balance, and respect for life in all its diverse forms. While industrial farming has its place, it's the rare and uncelebrated breeds like these that hold the keys to future sustainability. Their genetic diversity may one day prove crucial in combating disease outbreaks, climate change, and food insecurity. But for now, they remain mostly hidden, quietly grazing in distant lands, awaiting their turn to be recognized, celebrated, and perhaps embraced by the wider world. And there you have it, 5 incredible cattle breeds that most of the world has never even heard of, yet each one carries a story that's as rich as it is inspiring. From the ancient strength and ghostly beauty of the Hungarian Grey to the horned royalty of Africa, the majestic Anko Watusi, we journeyed through the quiet forests of Sweden to find the endangered and gentle Väneko, then crossed into the Caribbean to meet the resilient Cuban Criollo, and finally scaled the misty mountains of Southeast Asia to uncover the sacred and hard-working Mung Cattle. These breeds remind us that farming isn't just about high yields and commercial gain. It's also about heritage, adaptation, and preserving the diverse threads of our agricultural story. In a world where livestock is often standardized, these rare cattle stand out as living proof that uniqueness matters. If you enjoyed discovering these hidden gems of the cattle world, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more videos that dive deep into the fascinating world of livestock, farming, and animal science. And drop a comment below. Which of these rare cattle breeds amazed you the most? Or maybe you've heard of another unknown breed we should feature next. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay curious, stay inspired, and keep exploring the untold stories of farming.